Welcome to DK Champ. So looking at the MLB slate for tonight, I took the game 2 off, so I'm back on game 3, and we're now in LA, which I think may change things just a little bit, but looking at the total, the Vegas odds are 7.5 runs, so that's a pretty high total considering the pitching that's coming in. So there's a couple different ways you can approach this lineup. You have two decent pitchers here. I do think that one stack that I'm going to do is going to be several Dodgers bats as well as SOX bats, and it's just going to be no pitching whatsoever. And then I'll do one with pitcher from the Dodgers, and then really stack the Dodgers bats. So I think that's kind of the way to approach this thing this time. Looking at who's going to probably have a hot bat against pitching, there's a couple of options that kind of stick out. I think your top two, Betts is always going to have the potential to score a ton of points, and that's something that you'll have to keep in mind. But Betts for Boston, and then it's kind of when you get down to the Dodgers bats, you could Bogart's also decent bat against this pitcher. So I think that's kind of the way it's looking. I have my computer beside me, so I'm going to pull up the matchups, looking at historical data from these bats versus these pitchers and see where we're at with that. But I try not to put a lot of stock in this because it's not always the best information. So I'm going to do the batting average of 300 and a minimum amount of bats. And what I'm pulling up here is 4 Dodger bats that are showing up right here. And I'll show you what those are. These are the guys that have had a good showing against this pitcher. So the first one has the highest average. He's only had 6 at bats, and he is batting average is 66 or 667. So he's hit the ball 66% of the time. That's a pretty good stat to look at, and that's Kemp. Now, once again, we don't know what the final lineups are going to be yet, but I would imagine with this kind of stat that he's definitely going to play, but we don't really know what that'll be yet. The second player hits the ball 34% of the time based on 38 bats. That's a pretty good stat to look at. I like that, and I think that's a pretty obvious pick for everybody tonight, more than likely. Next pick is going to be on or hitting 33%, and that is going to be Taylor, which once again we don't know. Historically, there's only been 6 at bats with Taylor, so depending on where he's playing tonight, it's got him listed as second base on some of the sites, and then it's got him listed. He'll probably end up playing shortstop or outfield. And then your last one is going to be Dozier. And Dozier's had a hot bat recently, and I think that's always something you need to look at. But, just these guys get in a groove, and it makes it a lot better. So let's look at historically where these guys are. And see. Dozier's been pretty hot recently. He'll probably end up getting a couple of hits in this game. Taylor, let's take a look at that. Yeah, he's probably going to see several at bats tonight, and then these two guys I think are locks. So now you're down to your flex, and I think if you're going to play someone, if you want to play all bats tonight, then you have to go with Betts. And then your last pick, you have 96. Why not? Jeez. I thought I was going to have to go low, but it doesn't look like it. So this is going to be my all-bat stack right here, and I'll go ahead and submit this, and then I'll pull up my pitching because I do want to get the Dodgers along with the pitcher and hopefully square this away. But if it goes to 8 runs, I think we really need to stack both teams again. And I'm going to do a stack with the pitcher because I feel like no matter what, you're looking at probably 7 strikeouts tonight, regardless of earned runs. So I think that's always going to be a positive. When you're looking at pitchers, you want guys that are going to get these strikeouts because that's going to be worth the value. So then we'll go through and we'll start with Kemp again, and we'll go through and see who we can get. So like I said, I haven't played with the money so much as to looking at just numbers and stats. And I like to use historical data because these guys, once they know a pitcher well enough, they actually perform on a consistent basis based on the stats. But you have to have, typically I wouldn't look at a guy that's only had 6 at-bats against a pitcher, but I'm doing that for this one because it's only a 1-game slate. I would typically only do like 25 plus attempts or at-bats before I would look at a stat. So let's move along here. Who's the last one? Taylor. And I'm going to hold, well, no, I'm going to play Dozier. The Dozier is questionable. He's showing up in my stat, but you know he's not historically that great. He's just hit some home runs, and that's great for this particular kind of style of lineup. But he could be questionable. He may get up there and strike out every time. So don't be sold on Dozier. You can flip things around. That's just who I'm going with. So I got 61 left, and I wonder if I'm going to go Boston. Let's see if I can get Moreland, what he's looked like. So he has had 1 at bat, so he's just he's not getting enough reps for me to want to play him in this. And once again, like, make sure you come back and check. So we got 4 at bats here, 2 at bats second game. And then I'll take a look at Bradley, who could potentially really do something here, or, well, consistently. I mean, I think this might be my pick here. So if I'm going to pick somebody, I'm going to go with Bradley. That leaves me with 700, and I can play around with Dozier later once the lineups come out. But take a look at these picks. Let me know what you think about these two. I'm going to submit this one and show you both of them side by side. I do think this is the game for the Dodgers to win. I don't think they're going to give this one up, so we should see them win this game at home with the pitching staff they have lined up for tonight. So this is what I'm going to roll with. If you like this, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, leave me a comment and let me know what you think. And I hope you all have great success tonight and win a lot of money. Thanks for watching.